This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only and utilizes artificial intelligence, AI. The information provided may not always be accurate. For important decisions, consult experts or professionals. Just like before, you as the storyteller to us, like we were children, tell us about the movie Now You See Me. We're excited to learn about this film.
All right, my loyal listeners and story companions, get ready for yet another tale full of mystery, action, and magic. The movie Now You See Me is about a group of skilled magicians called the Four Horsemen. At first, you might think it's just about magic tricks, but behind every move they make, there's a deep plan that goes beyond ordinary illusions. At the beginning of the story, we meet the four magicians: Daniel Atlas, a master of card tricks; Merritt McKinney, a mentalist; Henley Reeves, an escapist; and Jack Wilder, a street magician. They all started as solo performers, but were brought together by a mysterious figure and formed a group known as the Four Horsemen. Their first show is something special. Using their unique abilities, it seems like they managed to rob a bank in Paris while they were still in Las Vegas. Imagine that, a heist done through magic. And they didn't just keep the money for themselves, they shared it with the audience like a miracle. The group became the talk of the town, and they were immediately chased by the authorities. This is where Agent Dylan Rhodes of the FBI comes in. He's the main investigator and doesn't believe in magic. He just wants to figure out how they pulled off that heist. Alongside him is a French Interpol agent named Almadre, and together, they pursue the Four Horsemen. While the FBI tries to catch them, the group continues their performances, and their plan gets even bigger. With each show, they stage more elaborate magic heists that aren't just impressive, but also send a message aiming to take down those with power and wealth. However, like any good magic trick, all of this is part of a deeper plan. As the story unfolds, we gradually discover that there's a huge secret behind their actions. Their magic tricks seem to be tied to seeking justice for an old wrong, and there's a mastermind behind it all that no one expected. The beauty of the film isn't just in the illusions and heists, but in the twists and turns that will surprise you. You won't know who the real hero is, who the villain is, or who is truly in control of everything that's happening. In the end, there's a shocking twist. The leader of it all is not who the audience expects. The plan is so detailed that everyone, including the FBI, seems to have been part of one big magic trick. It's like the movie is telling us, the closer you look, the less you'll actually see. So, my friends, if you love stories filled with mystery, illusions, and unexpected turns, you're sure to enjoy Now You See Me. In this film, we see how a magic show can be more than just a performance. It can be a plan for justice, reclaiming rights, and seeking the truth.
It's beautiful. So it's about a group that's really good at magic tricks. It would be great to actually watch it so we can see the magic tricks they performed.
You're absolutely right. Now You See Me is truly an amazing movie to watch, especially since the magic tricks performed by the Four Horsemen are not just simple illusions. They seem to happen right in front of you. There's a unique thrill when you see how they manage to confuse not only the characters in the story but also us, the viewers. Aside from the magic tricks themselves, it also has a heist movie vibe, so every scene has this force of action that keeps the excitement going. It's like you become part of the audience, wondering how did they do that, and what will they do next? The cinematography and special effects in the movie are also great, so you really get drawn into their world. It makes you wonder if the magic tricks are real, or if there's a secret way they're pulling it off. But the best part is the twists that you would never expect. When you watch it, I'm sure you'll be even more amazed by the storytelling and how each illusion is part of a deeper story. So yes, it's definitely worth watching on the big screen to see all the intricate magic tricks and how they plan each stunt.
What is the main theme of this movie, and what deep lessons can we learn from it?
The main theme of Now You See Me revolves around illusion, justice, and power. At first glance, the movie seems to be just about magic tricks and heists, but as the story unfolds, you gradually realize that it carries a deeper message about restoring justice and taking down those who abuse their power and wealth. Here are some deep lessons we can learn from the movie. 1. Justice will always find a way. The primary motivation of the Four Horsemen is not just to show off their magic skills, but to right a wrong that occurred in the past. The movie shows that justice may not always come in the ways we expect, but in the end, it will find its way. It also demonstrates that even those in power can fall when they become abusive. 2. Perception is not always reality. In magic, what people see is important, but often, it's not the whole truth. The same applies in real life. What we see on the surface may not always be the reality. Sometimes, we need to dig deeper to understand what's really happening. In the movie, the magicians continually deceive the authorities with illusions, teaching us to be critical because not everything is as it seems. 3. Everything is part of a bigger plan. One of the key lessons of the movie is the concept that everything we do may be part of a larger and deeper plan. Like magic tricks, the small actions we take may have deeper meaning and impact in the future. The movie gradually reveals that every move the Four Horsemen make is part of a larger plan that is not immediately visible. 4. Unity and trust. The unity of the Four Horsemen is a major reason for their success. Even though they are different individuals with their own specialties, they trusted each other and their mission. In real life, the movie teaches us that unity and trust in others are key to succeeding in any plan or goal. 5. Perseverance and creativity. The group of magicians doesn't give up easily. In the face of intense challenges and pursuit by the authorities, they keep coming up with new ways to escape and overcome obstacles. The lesson here is to be creative and resourceful in life, and not to give up at the first sign of difficulty. The movie also seems to tell us that in a world where the powerful often dominate, there is still a way for the little people or underdogs to succeed, using intelligence, perseverance, and unity. So, by the end of the movie, we are not only left in awe of the magic tricks, but we also learn valuable lessons about life, justice, and the power of illusions, not just on stage, but also in reality.
So, it's about restoring justice and taking down those who abuse their power and wealth. That's great, especially in today's times when many people experience this.
Exactly. That theme of seeking justice and bringing down the abusers really resonates, especially in our current times where many are facing oppression and abuse of power and wealth. In Now You See Me, it shows that even when it seems impossible, there are still ways to make things right, and often, the underdogs or those at the fringes of society have the power to fight back against those who oppress them, not through violence, but through intelligence, creativity, and unity. The parallel to real life is very palpable. We see many situations where the rich and powerful seem to hold all the control. But just like the Four Horsemen in the movie, they demonstrate that even if you don't have the same wealth or power, there are still ways to succeed against oppression. The movie's message is timely, especially with so many people today seeking justice, in politics, in business, and in various aspects of life. The film offers hope that, somehow, there are still ways for justice to prevail, and in due time, those who are oppressed and deprived can rise up. The positive message here is not to lose hope. Even when the battle feels overwhelming, there are ways, and sometimes, the best weapons are our intelligence, courage, and belief in justice.
That's amazing. Now, I'd like you to share with us what this means for our spiritual life.
That's a wonderful question. If we look at Now You See Me from a deeper and spiritual perspective, there are many meaningful lessons we can take away that can help us reflect and grow in our faith. 1. Seeing beyond what our eyes perceive. In the movie, we repeatedly learn that what our eyes see is not always true. The magic tricks of the Four Horsemen always present illusions. In our spiritual life, this reminds us that faith goes beyond what is visible. As 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7 says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." True happiness, meaning, and justice are not found solely in material things or what we can physically see. They lie in the deeper aspects, in our relationship with God and others. 2. God's justice is faithful and unwavering. The film shows a theme of seeking justice, which is also evident from a spiritual perspective. In the Bible, we are reminded many times that God is a God of justice. Psalm 9 verse 8. It may seem to us that the oppressors prevail, but the lesson here is that God's justice will come at the right time. We may not see its fulfillment immediately, But God is not blind to oppression, and He is always working for the oppressed. 3. God's plan is above all. Like the magic tricks in the movie, sometimes we don't immediately see the full picture of God's plan in our lives. At times, the events around us seem chaotic or mysterious, but from a spiritual perspective, everything that happens is part of a bigger plan of God. In Jeremiah 29 verse 11, God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Life may be full of mysteries, and we may not immediately understand what's happening, but we trust that behind everything, God has a plan filled with love and justice for us. 4. Trusting in the process we don't understand. In the movie, the characters have a plan that isn't immediately understood by the audience or the other characters. In our lives, we often don't immediately see why things happen, especially when we go through trials. But the film and our spiritual life teach us to trust the process, knowing that even when we don't understand, God has a greater purpose behind it all. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." 5. The power of faith in the midst of weakness. One of the key themes in the movie is how the Four Horsemen stand against the powerful and wealthy. In our spiritual lives, this reminds us that our faith gives us strength even in our weakness. We don't need to be rich or powerful to succeed, because God gives true strength to those who trust in Him. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." In summary, Now You See Me is a beautiful reminder that behind the illusions and what we see in the world, true justice, power, and happiness come from God. We may not always understand His plan, but by trusting in Him, we will know that in the end, everything will work out for our good and for the world through His great plan.
Another great movie has been shared with us. Once again, thank you so much. Until our next conversation.
Thank you as well. I always enjoy our chats. Until our next talk, I'm excited to share more new stories and lessons. Take care always, and I hope you continue to be inspired by all the movies and stories we discuss. Until next time, my fellow storyteller.